Welcome to the channel and this first video in a new Let's Play for Et Impera 1.2.5 where we will be playing Armenia. Now I'm aware that many people don't like long introductions, so I will be putting in a timestamp for any of you who want to jump forward into the main gameplay. For any of you who've decided to remain, this introduction will consist of 3 parts. The first part I will talk about my reasons for playing Armenia. The second one, we will take a look at the roster, because the Armenian roster is quite an interesting roster compared to many others. And then the final part is we'll do the usual intro into the faction. So why do I want to play Armenia? Well, it's been a very difficult decision, and probably the best way to explain it is to give you a bit of background. Is that the last of the Et Impera campaign I played was the Alexander campaign, and it started well, but then it kind of ran into a stalemate after I got into Asia Minor, and I just couldn't break through that war, and eventually I started to get a bit frustrated, and then the update for the marshals came out, and so eventually I basically decided to abandon it. Now, going back a bit further than that, I spent the best part of 2019 fighting a Rome campaign, and most of the action took place in the west and north, and I never really got that far east of Greece. When I decided to look into the new faction, it had to be a faction in the east because I'd spent too much time in the west. And I got a bit of a short list, and it came down to Bactria, Parthia, Media Atropine, Armenia, and I even looked at the Kartuli. And then I whittled that down a bit to Bactria and Armenia, and then it came a bit of a difficult choice because both Bactria and Armenia have some very interesting rosters, and I really wanted to play both, but I can't really play both at the same time. So in the end I just tossed a coin and it came down as Armenia. Look at the roster. Now the Armenian roster is quite interesting, so starting with the general, well, we've got let's get that on there. I mean there's a fairly good infantry unit here. But to be honest, the real power of Armenia is this general unit. You can see here, this is a very heavy cataphract. You can see he's got a charge bonus of 101. He doesn't have much melee attack and defense. He's got massive 140 armor, which is probably some of the heaviest armor in the game. In fact, the Armenian roster has some of the heaviest armor in the game. But you can see here, although he's got poor, relatively low melee attack and defense, he's got some pretty colossal weapons that are damage and armor penetration. So this is very much a unit that you can get in and wreck enemy units. One important thing to remember is that although this is effectively tank cavalry, it can be very vulnerable to missile fire, so you don't really want to run these around the battle map too much. Moving on to the melee infantry, we've got Armenian Highlanders. In some ways these are a good all-round unit, because they can get in, they can mix it. You can see they've got good armor penetration and weapons damage. They can cause a lot of damage if they can get in amongst the opposition. The one problem is their armor's not that good. I mean, they've even got a missile unit, so in some ways this is a fairly good basic unit for the early game. And then we got Georgian Swordsmen, which again are very similar. I mean these guys do even more damage. Wow, didn't realise that. This must be due to the fact the roster's been reworked. Then we got Georgian medium infantry, probably not quite so good. And of course we got Thorax Swordsmen, which is a fairly standard unit, although we won't get access to those until we've got to the reforms. And then of course, quite interestingly at the end here, we got Armenian Legionaries, which is a touch of the Roman influence there. You can see they've got massive 70 armor, pretty good weapons damage, not so much armor penetration if you compare to that. Then of course we got the Thorax Swordsman on the end here. Again, they've got really good armor. This is quite a tanky unit, but it's quite a late game unit. And in some ways these will probably be the units we will need to fight the Romans with. Then moving down to the spear infantry, nothing special here. And of course the one thing about the Armenians is they don't have access to Eastern infantry, which have the spear and missile capability, which is a bit of a shame. But then that would make the Armenians so OP, it would be, they'd be virtually unbeatable. And again, on the end here, we've got Armenian Legionaries. So in some ways, you could have a pretty effective front line made up of these two units here. And of course, we've got a phalanx unit down here. I'm not sure when this comes in. Again, they could make a fairly reasonable front line. The only problem with them is the fact that with the Eastern infantry, with their missile capability, these can be quite vulnerable to attack. So in some ways, maybe once you move away from the Eastern factions, you can use pike units, but pike units are quite vulnerable because they're slow moving, and if you're up against Eastern infantry, and you've got to remember, as the AI likes to spam out lots of his Eastern infantry, then these pikemen can get wrecked even before they get anywhere near the infantry. So maybe we're going to need to have the faster moving troops so they can get in and mix it and take away that missile capability. Missile units, well, we got some Corsican archers, they're pretty good. Of course, we got Armenian slingers. They probably form a lot of the backbone of my army in the initial phase, because I like the range and the damage. And of course, we've now got the Armenian heavy archers, which form a very good flank defense unit against Cav, because with their armor and the missile range, they can take down opposition, but at the same time, if they get into some melee, they can stand a reasonable amount, even though they don't really have that much in the way of armor penetration. But with their armor, these can really take damage and survive. Now, of course, we're now getting down to the real core of why you play Armenia, which is you've got some shock cav here. You can see the Armenian noble Catathrax are the equivalent to the general unit. Gain 140 armor, 101 charge bonus. Get three or four of these operating together within an army in a field battle. Obviously, they're no good in siege. These would really wreck the opposition as long as you can keep them away from missile troops. But then what you got down here is some quite handy melee cav. Moving down to the missile cavalry, you can see we've got Armenian horse archers. These would probably form the core of the army in the early game. Not so much armor, and they will be vulnerable. They probably don't have that high morale, but they will prove very useful in the early game, especially if we can put together a cav army with shock cav, some melee cav and missile cav. I mean, I would certainly want to do that. We got some skirmisher cavalry. Yeah, I mean, I would probably prefer the archers to the missile cav, mainly to do with the range. And then, of course, what we got on the end here is probably another one of the major elite units here, which is the Armenian armored horse archers. These are the real kind of assault. I mean, if you could if it's possible to put together a cav army with the generals, some shock cav, a couple of melee, and then say 10 or 12 of these missile units, and if they were working with a second army that was primary infantry. So if any of you follow my series, you'd be aware that I like to have battle groups. So we'd have an army that would do the sieges supported by a secondary army. In this campaign, that secondary army could be a cav army. That could be very interesting play. And then, of course, we got the usual field artillery there. So let's just get into the grand campaign. And of course, we're playing Armenia. If you're not sure where it is, then the Armenians are an Eastern Empire. They get plus 15% ammunition for all missile units, which again shows you the sheer power of the units that the Armenians have. They've got powerful missile troops, and now they've got 15% missile units. They've got Persian trade heritage plus 10% wealth for all commerce buildings. The start year is 278 BC. Starting challenge normal. Game difficulty will be my normal game difficulty, which is campaign hard, battle difficulty normal. And you can see the starting position for Armenia is just to the east of Asia Minor. The Kartuli are just on the bottom of the map there, and of course you've got Pontus up here, and then to the south the Seleucids. And you can see political tradition, monarchy, special systems, global reforms. They're bridge builders, diplomatic bonus with Hellenic and Persians. Proud people, increased morale in their own land. And we got landlocked, increased naval unit recruitment costs. Don't think this will be too big a problem, simply because the naval units will just be purely to defend coastal settlements. We're not going to be waging that much of a war using naval units. Victory conditions, we've got Patava, Scythia, Mesopotamia, Syria, Italy and Bosphorus. So what we're actually looking at is having to occupy an area round Asia Minor, across to Italy. We probably don't have to go all the way to the east, and of course we've got to go north to get Scythia. Mesopotamia, I'm not exactly too sure how far suppose Mesopotamia is in the direction of Egypt, but not quite Egypt. And we've got to control 60 settlements, maintain 180 units and 60 mercenary units. An interesting number of mercenary units. Of course, there's no naval unit requirement there. And I think that is about it. So we're just going to jump straight into the campaign now.
After years living under the yoke of foreign rule, you're at last free to rebuild your kingdom. The former Persian lands, shattered by Alexander, lie unprotected and vulnerable. Ensure you're the one who profits from this. A rapid conclusion to your war with Ardahan is essential, and you may wish to forge an alliance with the friendly Pontians to this end. With enough haste, you may even be able to subjugate those who denied your liberty, as Media Atropatene have granted your permission to march your armies through their territories and into the heart of Persia. Such a reversal of fate will be glorious indeed. It's your destiny to take back what's yours and carve a new kingdom of Armenia for posterity.
So here we are, we've got to carve a new kingdom of Armenia for posterity. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of, that this actual introduction is not actually correct. We are not at war with anyone, and Media Atropatene has not granted us military access. That's a bit of, so that is actually out of date. Our first objective issued is the treasury. So we're now moving on. We've got objective issue, complete control of 2 provinces, either by direct ownership or through strategies or military allies, and we get 2,500 for that. Now the first thing I want to do is we're just going to get in here, look at the politics. Not bad. We hate Easterners. That could be a little bit of a problem if we start making treaties. Hates the Romans. That's okay. Is expansionist, +5 loyalty for 2 turns for each enemy settlement captured. And we got a bigot over here, which is a potential problem, because it means as we expand, that will build up. He's a populist. Populist isn't that much of a problem unless we push the taxes up. We got a xenophile here, +2 loyalty for every faction which we established diplomatic treaties with. He's a pacifist. Bit of a problem there if we go to war. He's a patriot, which is ±5 loyalty for every enemy army present. I think we can live with this. This is looking pretty good. I mean, there's always some downsides with respect to how those loyalties work out. Now, I think we start with, let's have a quick look. So we start with 1 region in Syria. That could be a bit problematic. We've actually got a whole province here. That's quite an unusual setup. I don't ever remember starting a playthrough where effectively we got no other buildings. What have we got in the way of armies? We got an agent and an army there, and a tiny little army there. So we've got 2 small armies, which we're probably going to need, because we're probably going to need an army here to move them out to deal with the public order here. Just move you out as well. I think I'm going to send our agent up here, because probably let's talk tactics. Tactics wise, I would say that what we're probably going to do is target this area first, partly because I want revenge on the Kartuli, and this will give us another solid province with a mountain range there to defend against whoever's up here. We'll probably try and make friends down here as much as possible. We'll see how things go with the Seleucid Empire. We're probably going to end up at war with Media Atropatene eventually, so we can't be too complacent from that point of view. So I think we'll go diplomacy straight away. Now, I don't want to make friends up here, so we'll start with... Okay, so
greetings, honoured guest.
Training.
I serve as my people's ears and tongue, listening and speaking as will please.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly take that.
Your words bring satisfaction to the god.
Pontus.
Athena give you wisdom, so that you may speak well and persuade me.
Let's cancel that just for the moment. See if we can get the Seleucids on the side.
I am here to listen if you speak honestly.
Yeah, we'll pay for the trade agreement.
Excellent news indeed.
Okay, they won't give us non-aggression. Well, that might improve our standing eventually. And of course, the one tactic we can embark on is if they get into a war with somebody, we can make threatens Cappadocia.
Welcome, honored emissary.
Cappadocia is a potential problem.
But we must.
Pontus.
Greetings, honored guest.
Trade agreement.
I serve as my people's ears and tongue, listening and speaking as will please.
Let's see if we can. Whoops. Go for the full 3,000. 3,000 is the max you can get. They've accepted.
You speak with wisdom and.
Right, media atrophy.
Welcome, honored emissary.
We've accepted the trade deal. Yeah, we'll pay for the non-aggression for the moment.
Your acceptance is welcome.
So we haven't done too bad.
My master and the gods will.
While we're working through this, let's do the. I think I would like actually cancel that just for the moment. Let's have a look at the recruitment capabilities. Because I can't remember what can we recruit here?
Ready for orders.
Actually nothing. So we can get some slingers. And we got AP, so I want to move you up here. I think we're how many can we recruit? Get rid of you. Don't like Countess. We'll just recruit 4 slingers. We've got 22,000. And what do we need here? We got gold. We got a couple of basic settlements. We got Tushpa. Well, I think we'll get straight in with the gold reserve here. What do we get here? And we're probably going to need some food, at least. And we're going to need to go military. What we get militarily. So this would give us the Axemen and some basic troops. We're going to need to get up to here relatively quickly. Get the Georgians. We've got Georgian Swordsmen here. I suppose we could get. What else can we get? Oops, no, I don't want that. This is going to give us our horse archers and. I think we're going to go military just for the moment, and then we'll have to expand this over time. You're in the north, and for 2 food, I think that would be worth spending money on. And tech-wise, I think we've got access to that. So diplomacy, sorry. Tech-wise, I think we will go with. This is unlocked. So we haven't get here. This is army upkeep, and then this would be infantry tents. So we'd have to. That would be 6 turns. I feel that I would like to go for dignitaries first, so that we can get a dignitary over here, help with the cultural effects. Yeah. What Tushpa down here in Samoza. What's the culture like here? Non-existent. Well, it's going to rise naturally for a little while. You've got 4, you've got 6. So in theory, this should rise naturally to 10%, because it'd be 1 against 10 or 1 against 4. So that's falling. That's falling. So we don't really need any temple here just at the moment. And wine. This has given us wine as well, +1 public order. What do we get here militarily? That's food, that's squalor. Public order. Actually, I think we'll go food here. No, I think we'll go that way for the public order. And Come back to here. Got 10,000 left to spend. That's 4,000. That will push that up, and that will improve the garrison. So I think we're going to risk going this way. How's the culture in here? 100% Armenian. That's good. Yeah, 2 food. Where are you? You're over here. You've got Cappadocia over here that could give us trouble. So they would have to come round through here. Actually, yeah. Let's just take this up. That will give us a bit more public order. And that's going to give me 2 growth, no public order. Although the public order in this province is pretty good. That's going to give me another 225 Koron. Now, if we're going to get attacked, we're going to cut. We've got Tushpa here. My instinct is to take Tushpa up. And that actually gives me some extra recruitment. Yeah, I think we're going to spend the money on Tushpa because we need a reasonable garrison down here to defend. I think that's about all we've done. Oh, we probably can do an edict here as well. What we got here? Loyalty, tax harvesting. Got a bit of money left. Let's just look at the family. Wow. So Sham, really need to get him adopted into the family. Oh. None of you. So what we got here? I think we'll get you married, although you're 60 years of age, which I think is that 60? Have a look. At times it takes luck to live a full length, yes. And we've got 20 gravitas. How much gravitas do we need? Gravitas costs 20. I think if we get him married, that should. What are you bringing? Plus -1 gravitas per turn. Arrogant husband. Great. Ah, local province. Thank you, game. +2 loyalty to the 2% faction wide. So that's going to give me. And I think that's all we can do this turn. So we're just going to go for an end turn. So. What we got? War declared between that's great, that's a diversion. Bezoid and Colchis. Seasonal conditions, quartermaster edict issued. Right. So we got this here. I think we can risk putting these into patrol. That gets this up to public order there. Right, let's just push our agent through.
On the move.
I really wanted the Kartuli to declare war on somebody.
Can I assist you further?
Actually, are you actually at war with anyone? No, you're not. Thank you. Now we can keep. What I want to do is keep moving this army.
At your command.
North.
At once.
And
Waiting for more
recruit units. I think we've got 1, so if we pop 4 Armenian spearmen, there'll be a kind of deflection for the units. And what can we build here? Well, you just have to let these turns run just to see how things go. Can't build that. Actually, I cancelled 2 of those. We can take one of these up. I think this might be more important than actually building up an army at the moment. I think if we take up one of those, we've got only 119 left, so we'll just pop another end turn. Okay, hidden agent, construction reports. So we've got trading space here and a nomad camp here. 2,000. Right, we can't do anything there. Don't have that much money. I think for the moment that would probably be. That just gives us. Because it's 60 wealth. That gives us an extra 3 food. Kind of inclined to expand this a little bit. I think we're going to go with that and get a cavalry recruitment as well. And you didn't declare war on anyone. Let's have a quick check. Oh, you're still at peace. I think what I'm going to do is seize over this side.
Your orders, my
I think there's a settlement here. And I think that's all we can do. This turn, so just going to go. Can we recruit another unit? Yeah, I think we'll just. Actually, what we got here? I think we're going to go a couple of archers as well. It's going to make quite a big. Actually, we'll go 1 archer, 4 slingers, and then yeah, I think that will work. It's going to make the army a bit missile intensive, but I think if we're going to try and take out the Kartuli, we may need that missile force to take down their army. Encourage population. Yep, thank you. Troops recruited. A little bit more cash. You're a trade settlement. My instinct is to push this up. I mean, we're okay for food just at the moment. And that's going to take all my money again. Yeah, I think we might be able to wait 1 turn. So now we're going to wait 1 turn to get the. So we'll spend the money on this. All local armies, about -6 banditry, 150 wealth. I think if we mix this up across the board, this should be okay. And I'm just going to go for another end turn. Right, found that. Research complete. Formal government. We should have done is open up these.
Greetings to you. I trust you come with honourable
They're actually
words
at
that I
war
can
with Royal
hear.
Scythia. Thank you. We're going to bring the agent back this way
As you command.
through the pass.
Stopping for now.
This has
my
been.
lord.
They've been actually very passive at the moment. Although they got 517. We can now recruit extra troops now. We can now get the Georgian Swordsmen and go search wise now. I think I would like to come this way now and open up this. We get a dignitary. How's the cultural conversion going here? 1% and rising. I think what we'll do is, can I get a dignitary here? 3% +1 growth, 2.5 morale or units, 1 growth, 2 public order per province. That's replenishment. That's 3%. actually not worried about the replenishment. I actually quite like this guy, so we're gonna recruit him into there, and that's gonna be all my money. Can we sneak in another cheap unit?
At your command.
Okay, let's keep building this army up. We're now up to 10. Okay. Wrestling center. You've got that. A couple more turns and 2 more turns, and we'll be able to get some cav. Okay, hidden agent, troops recruited, motivated population. Wow. Public order here is very good.
We fight for you, my
Instinct is to bring this army up.
have further orders.
Okay. And what we got? 10, so we
Join our
get another 4. Wow, 5. So that's 7. That gives this an army of 19. I mean, we're going to be going up against a walled city, so that could be a little bit tricky. But my instinct is I've got to get in here as fast as possible. I'm just gonna.
I am now swift and silent.
And we'll just deploy you. I've only got 980. There's nothing else we can do. One more turn and we'll get some cav. Legion exposed. Construction report. We've now finished that. We've got 3,900. And we can recruit some units now. Armenian cavalry, Armenian skirmish cavalry. So, my instinct is to get a couple of these, and then what do we want? We've got plenty of missile troops. These guys, and I think we're going to top out with these. Cancel that just for the moment. We're in the summer season. I'm just going to move you forward a bit first, and then we're going to get a couple of these, and then we're going to top up with those. That's going to be all my money. I know I'm blowing all my money on here, but I just want to get in here before these get too big. I mean, they're 11, they're 12. I'm just going to go for an intern. Okay, construction complete. Right, settlement. Household expands. Hidden agent. Right, just see if the Artulia. Right, they're now actually at war with Ardhan and. Right. And who are you? You're undiscovered. They've got 11 and 14. That gives them an army of 25. We've got an army of 20. I think if we go to here,
I greet you in my
join
master's
war against the
field
Kartuli.
name. Speak in honesty,
And
and
you
you
accept?
will,
Yes, they've accepted.
on behalf.
And what we're going to do is we're going to come smacking into here.
Let them cower before our fight.
And what we're going to do is what we got here, like, actually cancel that. And we're going to continue the siege. That stops them recruiting. And then what we're going to do is raise an army here. Actually, let's have a quick look at the politics. Who's lowest? Well, they're all pretty low. The Asuruni Naha what we're going to do is raise an army here. How good are you? Although it probably doesn't make that much difference. I'm just going to recruit you.
We fight for you, my lord.
You've got 4,000 odd units here. And what we're going to do is spam out
You ready to serve?
some of these and a couple more slingers. Like that. And we've got these effectively now pinned. Can't do anything now. Oops, forgot to deploy the.
At your service. A thinking man is powerful.
We're going to go for an intern. Right, we've now got organised supply. Household increase. Right, increase in rank. Legish, Eyes of the King. I just can't remember now. We've got one more turn to go, so what I'm going to do is bring you up
Ready for
out here, because we're on the edge of winter.
Ready for further
Again, we're
orders.
just going to actually Tushba, banditry, wealth and commerce, like that. Eastern market for food. I think we're going to go with the Eastern market just for the moment. Got a bit more cash to spend,
For you, my lord.
and what we're going to do is
It's a great and
spam out
glorious
some
day
more
to fight for our cause.
of these. We'll probably disband some of these eventually. I just want to have a force big enough to go in and take out Kartuli. Got research, so we've now opened up this infantry tents or economic wealth. What do we get for infantry tents again? We're actually getting some. Yeah, I think this is going to be quite important because we're going to have to mount an aggressive campaign, and the tier 2 infantry tents will give us access to virtually all the core troops that we need. After that, we don't need to worry too much about being militarily inclined. I'm just going to. We've got our spy over here, and we'll give him the campaign movement range and a bit of authority. Actually, just check research again. Who gives me the? Oh, how do I get access to veterans? And oh, champions. That's it. Yep, that's definitely the right way to go. I'm just going to go for an intern. Construction complete. Garrison settlement in Koron. Household expands. Certainly going to need to look at the that character personality report. Agent. Okay. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, characters in adopt splits. So he's now a member of the family, and we certainly want to get you married. Can you get married? Yes. But you can't. Nor can you. That should improve our politics a little bit. And just going to come up to here.
Advance!
And just going to.
Kill them all!
So you can see we've now got overwhelming superiority. And I'm just going to drop a quick save against crashes. And of course we're going to fight this because this is the first battle of the campaign. So here we are, nice and dry. Where's our reinforcements coming in from? Over here. Great. Question is, do we concentrate forces or do we... Getting up through here is going to be a bit difficult. We've got... Now this wall probably looks the best because it's got no towers and we've got a corner here to fire in from. So what we will do is bring 4 of you across here like that. Leave 2 of you looking at this wall. So we've got these here. You've got an angle on the corners here. So I think we'll put a couple of you on here. In fact, we'll leave it. I can't remember how. I think we'll have 3 sets of slingers over here. Bring you over to here. And then you can fire down that angle. You can fire down that angle. We've got, I think we'll put you aiming for there. You've got to get round that. And then we'll have 2 coming up this side. Actually, I think we'll get you. You're not much in the way of assault, are you? I think we'll get you. You can drop the siege equipment, come back here, and we'll put a couple of hillmen on these as well. We'll have our general here against the event of us actually taking a gate, and we're going to leave these so they can go either way. Of course, what we're going to need to do is get the reinforcing army in. Now, we're not going to rush in straight away. What we're going to do is advance the slingers forward.
Even vermin can find their courage when defending a wall. Our reinforcements have arrived.
The
Our orders! Missile infantry ready, my lord! Fire on the enemy!
just get you focus firing on these.
Slingers!
Bring the slingers in. You fire on those. You're coming in from there. So we're going to play this a little bit slow. Take down some of these forces here. Actually,
We will darken the skies! Missile infantry ready! Fire on them!
you can fire onto these.
My lord! Yield us!
What's the extent of the? Okay. You. Going to move these forward, but not actually into range. You can get just to the. And we'll do the same here. Oh, this one's. These can't move forward that much, but just move these forward a little bit. How are we doing? We've got the flanking fire coming in. We should take these down. Eastern townfolk. Aha! Gotcha. Archers. Fire that. You might kill these in the process. So we'll just keep shooting these down as much as possible. I'll bring you over here as well, this corner. So this might be a little bit of a slow battle. I'm taking these down. These are going down quite well. These are Eastern Spearmen. Of course, we've got the ammunition bonus, so we've got plenty of ammunition, so we might as well use it to our advantage. Speed up a little bit, actually. Otherwise we'll be here forever. Right, but the general that side. Right. You, what's the you? How far's that? Actually, you come in a bit closer and see if you can fire up and hit these militia up here as well. Actually, I think what we're going to do is, soon I'm getting the army, and you come over here. Where's these? You move forward. You're going to be the sacrificial lambs. Right, these guys are now pulling off the wall, so we're now going to start moving you forward. You, I want to aim for about there. You aim for about there. You aim for about there. And you about there. I want you. Your job is going to be to attack the gatehouse. I'm just going to move these in. Bring you in to support. It's going to start. Time to start getting a little bit serious.
Missile infantry ready. Fire on the enemy. Loose. Slingers.
You've just fired.
One of our units has used ammunition.
You withdraw. I want you to come in support.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Another unit finished. You out here. Move these in close support. Oh, no. Mess that up. Teach me to do a group select, won't it? You get up in support.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
You get over here. Over here. Right, I want you in there to take that tower. I want you up here. You up there. Hillman, after the archers. Hillman. Hey, come on. Get your act together. You in close support.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right, we've got this tower neutralized. We've got an entrance here where we can get in behind them. Right, let's just push some more. Wait, what are you doing over here? We're going to push some more troops this way.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
You up onto the walls. You up onto the walls. Oh, you still get climbing up onto the walls. You down there. I think that is virtually all my missile capability used up.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
How's the gates going? Wow. Wait, up here, come on. Right, we've got the gap here. Come on. You up onto the walls. You up onto the walls.
We await your orders. Ready to march.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
How's the front gate going? Not that well. You. Hillman in. You up onto the walls. You support that way. And the AI is being its usual dumb self. We got over here. We got more reinforcements we can bring in. Over here. You get over here. So we're losing on this side. Probably to missile troops. Back. Right, these guys are holding. That's probably their elite troop. Actually, where's my cav? I think we might be able to get in and cause a little bit of damage here. You fire up onto there. You add your fire to there. You down here. You over here. Why can't I attack these? Let's use the missiles over here.
What are your orders? Organize yourselves!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right. I know we're going to charge through our own troops, but I think if we can. Nope, didn't work. Pull away. Want you dying. Yeah, some of my more valuable units. You squeeze that way. You back here. So you two are completely expendable. Actually, you. You go up there and take that tower. Move that way.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
You up onto the wall. Wow.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
We await your orders.
You lob some ammunition that way. This wall is very congested at the moment.
Cavalry, as you command.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right, we've neutralized this tower.
What are your orders? Get ready!
Can't seem to be able to attack this unit. See if we can push down off the wall. Cav, pull back again. You take out that tower. We need to break through one of these sides.
An entire unit has perished.
Yep, goes without saying. We can get a charge along here. We've neutralized this tower. They've got forces running out there for some reason. Wait, where are you going? Wow. Come on. How can missile troops? Right, if we get this, we'll get some fire coming in from this side. Right, we're starting to break through on this side.
We await your orders.
Where are you?
We have captured a tower. What are your orders?
Why can't I attack these? Because they're probably technically still inside the city. That's probably the problem. I think we're going to bring you over to take you out. Right. I know you're not particularly that strong, but
Awaiting orders. At the ready. Engage. What are your orders?
ah, they're actually trying to get back up onto the over here. Keep away from that tower over there. Eastern archers there. I want you just to quite literally defend that.
Infantry ready. Orders, my lord. What are your orders?
Right.
Awaiting orders.
You down off of this wall.
Orders, my lord.
You down off of this wall.
We are at your command.
You rush in on these.
Hillmen, engage. Orders, my lord.
You keep burning that gate.
We are at your command. Melee
I
cavalry.
don't understand why I can't get a decent charge on these guys.
As you say.
It's the nature of the city.
Melee infantry at the ready. Hillmen, strategy ready. Tatsis.
Oh. You
What are your orders?
down here.
Take them.
Too many troops up here trying to fight.
Orders, my lord.
The battle is turning in our favor.
Yep, it's taken long enough.
Melee infantry at the ready.
Right, their archers are retreated. These guys don't really have the strength to...
We are at your command. We understand. Get forward.
Let's drive these off the battlefield. Come on. You get over here. You're just wasting your time.
Formation.
Right, we're getting a break here. Right, getting a definite break now. And we're not finished, but if we can get the cav into the city. Wow. They're wavering. If we can get in a rear attack on this lot, and we can start to. Got here, cav. You, hillman that way. I think the hillmen are pretty reasonable troops in their own way. Light horse, you've taken too much damage. You pull away. I lost my cat. My oh no. Okay. More skirmishers in. Right. You fall on those. You come out and reinforce this side. You come over and reinforce this side. Right, this is where I really need a. Right, nearly got the gate.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful.
Thankful. Yep. Hillman, push on these. If we got the gates. Archers. More skirmishers in. We might as well provide some military assistance. Ooh. I mean, these are pretty heavy cav. Where's my one remaining spear unit? What's left of it? Okay, we're pushing on them now. There's my Royal Cataphracts in comp.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
You push on these. Nearly there, nearly there. You push that way. Norman that way. No, actually, you into the center here. While we're going through, pop that. Where are you? Where are you, Royal Cataphracts? Wait, over here. Hillman, detach and come this way. And they're gone.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Right, these guys are collapsing, so you push through. And you pull through, ready for a charge. I must admit, after fighting medieval 1212, it's really nice to be back with the morale of Divinity Et Impera. In they go. Yeah, well, probably going to replace you anyway, so not a problem. These guys are fighting to the death. I really want to say goodbye to the Cartuli as quickly as possible. You over here, you're taking fire from that tower. Last thing I want to do is lose my general. Come on, speed up a little bit. There we are. End battle. Wow, we lost 2,100. I was expecting heavy losses, which is to be understandable, but it'd be worth it taking the Cartuli out, getting that provincial capital, because then that gives us the foothold to split in two directions and take out Colchis and the other faction. Yeah, gotcha. You're dead. And of course we're going to occupy.
At your command.
And the Cartuli are gone. Revenge number 1. I'm just going to bring you back this way. And we've got -9 food, so the first thing we're going to have to do is untax this because it's probably pretty well developed. Yep, well, it's not that well developed. Not sure I actually want a military recruitment here. So we're going to knock that down for the cash. -3 food. Wow. Probably because of the winter. I think we're merge you up into units. Merge you up into units. Why we got -5 food now? Certainly going to merge you up. Actually, we'll merge all you up as well. Merge you up as well. We got -5 food. I think probably the next target is down here. I'm just going to bring you down here. So why have we got -5 food? So you're going to need to get that in, causing the problem. How come taking this? We're going to have to fix it in the long term. And what we will probably do is merge this army back up. We've got our faction leader, and of course my favourite, the Midnight Commander. Did you get anything? Nope. But you should be a little bit happier now. 15. So what we're going to have to do is rotate these generals in to do some battles. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.